Hey everybody, so I'm back today with a bit of a loot pull and hobby update, just a little bit of a discussion, and I'm actually going to be following up this video with another video quickly after that related. And so I've got two boxes here that have just come in today. I'm going to actually open up this smaller box second, and I'm going to start with this one, which is interesting. It's kind of flat. I actually expected it to be a bit thicker, so I'm hoping I got everything that I was supposed to have gotten, but we're just gonna see here. So I have got a very well wrapped Actually, this is kind of funny. This is not the box that I thought I was getting this in, so I guess I'm starting with something different. I've got a very well wrapped book. And let me just make sure. Ooh, sorry about that. There's nothing else in here. There's not supposed to be. But this book is Muskets and Tomahawks by Tomahawk Studio, which in the bag has a deck of cards with a case to hold the cards, and the book, and it says skirmishes in North America during the 18th century. So I am not going to talk a whole lot about this. That's my pull for the first box. That's going to be for the next video. Plans have to change, I suppose. I was going to do that last. Just would have thought that that would have come in the smaller box. So, okay, next thing is this smaller, heavier box, and I will now proceed to unwrap this. So, in this box, I have a U.S. Airborne 75mm PAC howitzer for my U.S. squad. And I actually have Airborne now. For whatever reason, I actually thought that this was the regular U.S. PAC howitzer. I have, as well, some resin walls on a sprue. 1, 2. These are really nice looking walls for bolt action. You can see the brick behind them. They look pretty good, with like plaster over them. So that's 2, 3, 4. I have two corner sections for the walls as well. Now, this is a foreground detached house for bolt action. So this will be my first piece of terrain that I've ever built from foreground, which I'm really curious to see what it's like to put this together. Now, I'll do a review on this. There are other reviews for sure of foreground on YouTube, and I've seen blogs, but I actually haven't seen a whole lot out there, so I'd like to contribute to that. One thing that I've been really wanting ever since I've seen it come out is, this is Sarissa Precision's European Chateau. I don't know about you guys, but when getting into bolt action and just playing World War II gaming, a big thing that I really liked about it is just sort of the terrain and just, you know, there's an aspect to it, if the tables are done right, that, you know, you get that European look, and there's sort of like a real, a lot of character, you know, to the way you can do some of these terrain setups, and the idea that you would have like an officer set up in a chateau that they've commandeered, you know, on your landscape, and, you know, you've got warfare going on around it. I just think that it's really cool. Like, that's one of the things that I really liked about the bolt action introductory videos on Flames of War. Not Flames of War, sorry, on Beasts of War, because they had a chateau on there, and it wasn't this chateau, but it really added to the effect on the table. I really liked the table that they set up. I even wrote somebody asking, you know, what, you know, I should have written Flames of War directly, or Beasts of War directly, but I was just wondering where they got that, and that was prior to me getting this, because I just thought it was so cool. And so this is a different product, obviously. It's also a laser cut MDF kind of board, and so I'll be very interested to see how this one comes together. So I'll be doing a review on that as well. So in some ways it's not fair. I'm not really comparing the two products, the Foreground versus Sarissa, because I would say that Chateau, although not maybe their most expensive, biggest kit, it's one of their maybe more premier kits. You know, I think it's fair to say that. Whereas the Foreground House, this would be sort of like, not the lowest end, but sort of, you know, a very basic kit for them. Like, they have ones that are much more intricate and more expensive than this one. So, so yeah, so it's definitely not really comparing apples to apples with the two. But as far as the materials, it's the same, you know, either way. And so I'll just kind of go through how it was to assemble and what I thought of the materials. So that is my little loot update, and when, you know, as far as stuff that I'm working on, some of that's going to be talked about in the next video, but I do have this half track that is not complete as far as the assembly, because there's still a guy that goes in here, machine guns, yeah, there's like a circular ring that goes here that holds the heavy machine gun. There's some additional things that I have to put on here, but in assembling this, I needed to do it in such a way, the way the instructions showed you to assemble it, you're supposed to put the guy in there pretty soon. I really didn't want to paint this guy with this stuff, with everything on it, and so I got it to a point where I feel like I could still slip the guy in and paint him separately. What I'm kind of got on my plate to do in the near future is to paint this up, and I've got about 8 infantry, US infantry, that are still from my original set that I've not completed. They're assembled, but they're just primed. I've got to paint them. So I'm kind of going to get those two things done in the near future. You know, I've got lots of models in line, you know, for bolt action still to paint, you know, not even including what I've shown today. So, you know, I've got a number of things coming as far as this goes. And so bolt action's been really a great game experience for me, and the reason I would say that is I've talked a little bit about why I like the game. I'm not sure how much I have on the channel, but normally it actually started out with just with me and one other player that I knew in the city that I live in, Calgary, actually playing it. I know that there are some others that have historically, but there was really not much activity going on for bolt action. But we did do a demo recently, and 3 individuals came down, and all of them, like, we let them play with our armies and kind of walk them through the game, and all 3 of them have invested in the game. I've got models they're assembling now, so we've got about a group of 5 now, so it's jumped from 2 to 5 just within a couple of months. And to be honest, I really like the game. It's I've not been playing historic games. I've been playing mainly sci-fi and fantasy in the past, which I still really like, but I enjoy the historic aspect of it, because it allows me to sort of research some history you know, related to the time period of the game that I'm playing and incorporate that into the modeling and just take an interest from that perspective. So I've liked that. And then another big aspect of the game that I like in Bolt Action is I like the scale of it, but I like how it's not, it's fairly randomized actions. Like, it's not a you go, I go, all your forces go, I go. It's, you know, you're basically pulling dice out of a bag randomly, whoever's order it is, you know, it's a bit unpredictable, and I kind of like that. And then, you know, it has aspects to it where you have random tables that add to some fun to the game, which adds some character from my perspective. I like randomized event kind of tables or randomized actions that that make it, you know, a bit fun. In some ways, I know some people hate the unpredictableness of some games. I actually like it, you know, and so for me, you know, just sort of adds to the fun. And so this has been, Bolt Action's been really good. Like, I've actually gotten a lot of utility out of the models that I've bought so far, and so all this stuff I'm getting here to be able to set up an additional table down at the club, and also just to have some fun, you know, just putting together some scenery and things. So that, I think, is it for this video, but I'll be coming back shortly to talk about muskets and tomahawks. Take care, everybody.